Yep, I'm good.
Welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs Podcast. We're your hosts, Dan and Andy. Andy, we're on season 3, episode number 27. This is our songs segment. How are you doing today?
The songs edition. Yes, I'm
This is the
doing
songs
well.
edition, episode number 27. We've got a good one. Because we got a bunch of peripheral kind of things on this topic for today.
Right, and as we get into it, talk about Megadeth today. I cover one of their albums. I just kind of went in depth on the band members who were on that album. Megadeth has had multiple band members since. I'm going off the 4 on there. Those who follow us on social media, this list won't be a surprise for you what I'm going to say. Those of you who listen to the show but don't follow on social media, shame on you. You'll know all this stuff. It's the type of stuff we put on our social media too, so it'll kind of be a peek into that.
Awesome. Today is May 25th, 2022. Memorial Weekend coming up, Andy. So we'll start the listeners off on the right foot.
Yes. Wake the neighbors.
We'll wake the neighbors with some Megadeth. Today, I'm going to share my screen here. The album is the 5th studio album, Countdown to Extinction. I'm going to focus on here today.
There it is.
There we go. Countdown to Extinction is the 5th studio album by Megadeth, released July of 1992. Now, this album features some of the best-known songs, Symphony of Destruction, Sweat and Bullets, Skin of My Teeth, which enjoyed some significant chart success and also made a great musical impact. This was released 1992. Recorded in the Enterprise in Burbank, California, 47 minutes, 26 seconds long, considered heavy metal or thrash metal, and released on Capitol. So they just had finished up their Rust in Peace in 1990. Then they came on with this, and pretty good stuff. Now I got a couple good notes here, Andy. I think you'll like this. The album was recorded in the first half of 1992 during the Rodney King riots that were taking place. These events negatively affected the recording process as the band was forced to leave the studio every night at 6 o'clock because of the enacted curfew.
Yep.
So they had the curfew. Dave Mustaine says that, there's nothing worse than getting a creative moment and then you have to leave. It was like a school bell ringing. And so, the riots were going on in LA. They were trying to record this album. Very, very interesting. Now, following Metallica's mainstream breakthrough, which happened in 1991, the success of their album saw Megadeth strip down their own sound, and Miss Mustaine decided to follow suit through the music. Although the music remained technically a perfectionist once again as their previous releases, but they tried to get that same mold to go more commercial, more mainstream, and not as heavy, not as dark, but boy, some good stuff here. Now, the album debuted at number 2, and it never went to number 1 because guess what was there? Billy Ray Cyrus was in the hot top spot with Some Gave All, the album.
Achy Breaky Heart.
Yes. You weren't going to beat that.
No.
They're dealing with the Rodney King the riots, Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart, then trying to reduce this thrash metal album. It did go double platinum. The band's most commercially successful album. And they were nominated in 1993 for Best Metal Performance at the Grammy Awards. And so they touched on a lot of things here, of course, with the album, what they talked about, and their lyrics dealt with a lot of things. I'll get a little more on that. But they toured with Pantera, Suicidal Tendencies, White Zombie. They also toured with Stone Temple Pilots, Diamond Head, Iron Maiden, Metallica. And so they did get some decent exposure. And, being from Minnesota, Andy, we're David Ellefson fans, of course. He's
Yep.
no longer with the band, but during this time when the album was recorded, here is. We may touch on this later, but the personnel was, of course, Dave Mustaine, lead vocals, David Ellefson, bass from Jackson, Minnesota.
Jackson, Minnesota. Yep.
Marty Friedman, lead and rhythm guitars, and Nick Menza, drums and backing vocals. Now, Nick Menza came into play because the title track, Countdown to Extinction, and the title of this album was related to him. He saw this on a cover of an article in Time magazine talking about the many things going wrong with the world, and the title was called Countdown to Extinction. He's like, let's use that for an album cover someday, for an album title. And so that's where they got that related to. Here's the track listings: Skin of My Teeth, Song 1, Song 2, Symphony of Destruction. Really talking about various puppet regimes that are installed in third world countries around the globe and what happens to them. He's got a lot of truth in his songs. Song 3, Architecture of Aggression. And that really kind of focuses in on Saddam Hussein at the time that was with the problems in Iraq. That song. Song 4, Foreclosure of a Dream, really talks about the economic impact and how these things go and how they operate. Their video is very good. In fact, I just watched that again. Everything back then was buy now, pay later, or take out credit cards. You can always pay it back later. And so everyone got hung up into this debt. And foreclosure was a big, big word. Song 5, Sweating Bullets. Sweating Bullets is a song really deals with the inner conflict of Dave Mustaine himself, all the things that he's gone through in his various life, his different, not quite multiple personalities, but a lot of inner conflict that he's faced, and wrote it all down in a lyric. The video to that is pretty good as well. Song 6 is This Was My Life. Song 7, Countdown to Extinction. Song 8, High Speed Dirt. High Speed Dirt. Lyrics are around the topic of skydiving. High Speed Dirt. And then song 9 is Psychotron. Song 10, Captive Honor. Song 11, Ashes in Your Mouth. So that's what I've got, Andy, as far as there's the album cover there. Another good Megadeth always had good album covers.
Yeah, and they were Dave Mustaine, for lack of better words, if you listen to it, was pretty political in those last two albums. This one and the one before was, he always was, but these two, he really, with the MTV audience, really took advantage of that soundboard, that audience. He didn't shove politics down your throat, but if you listen to it, you go, hey, that's happening in the real world. He wasn't just work. So
kind of current events, things like that.
So agree or disagree with what he was saying, I think that helped his music because it was current event stuff. Do the songs still hold true in the future? I say in a way, yes, if you live during the time it was recorded.
Yep.
Kind of like a lot of the Woodstock era music, the Peace, Love, Dope music. If you live through that, you could still, I like some of those songs, but it don't mean as much to me because I wasn't there. I didn't.
Yeah, it doesn't relate directly.
Like Barry McGuire's Eve of Destruction. I think that's a cool song, but I didn't live during that. So I don't get it. But the Megadeth stuff, great. A few notes I got about Megadeth band members.
Okay.
Dave Mustaine was in a little-known band called Metallica beforehand.
Oh, yes.
I don't know what became of them, if they had made it or not, but he was in there, and hard to believe him and the boys butted heads on stuff. And then to find out he followed their ways of, let's take it back a step. Let's turn the volume down to 10 instead of 15. Let's go from there.
That was interesting. Yeah, that was interesting to find that out. I did not know that.
They did that. Guitarist Marty Friedman. I've been a fan of Marty Friedman since high school.
Oh, really?
So his first stuff, he did just an acoustic album. Marty's done a lot of solo work. He was with Megadeth from 90 to the year 2000. So he was just with them for a little bit. On our social media, I put a lot of Marty Friedman stuff up. He's really big in Japan ever since he went over there. He's learned the language. He's become one of them. He married a local gal there. And I don't know if this had a lot to do with this was in the facts that brought it up. I think it was just a fact that, Dave Ellison, very strong in his faith. Dave Mustaine, Dave Mustaine. And Marty Friedman is very strong in his Jewish faith. So I think those three things, when they made music, it kind of came together.
Interesting.
And Marty Friedman had said at age 14, which if you did the math from his birthday would be 1976. He attended a Kiss concert and went and bought a guitar right after that and wanted to play.
Oh, really? He went to a show on the Destroyer tour. Right?
1976. That's kind of like the Kiss in Time tour we were at when we saw the show last week. So that concert he saw made Marty. If folks could find Marty Friedman on Spotify or any of the stuff we put on social media, he's a guitar wizard. I love listening to his stuff. If you follow him on Facebook, he started it during COVID, like everybody else. He just do sessions where he just play for like 2 minutes and release it on Facebook. So really good stuff. Long, super curly hair. He hates his curly hair. Like everybody with curly hair hates it curly, So if you could find him, look him up. Marty Friedman's a great follow. Friedman, kind of spelled like the psychiatrist Friedman.
Okay.
Dave Ellison, Jackson, Minnesota's own. We've talked about his stuff in the past. Not going to rip on that for the show now. But Lucid is the new band Dave Ellison's in.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Lucid. Our social media too. Very good band. Give them a listen. Lucid. And then Nick Venza. Nick passed away. This is the anniversary of his death this week. He passed away in 2016. The thing I liked about Nick was he was one of those, and this isn't he played everything. He did an album with John Fogerty. He was in Megadeth. He did blues stuff. He did Christian stuff. In fact, when the night he passed away, it says he was playing at a jazz club and collapsed during the third song of the set.
Oh, I didn't know that.
From heart issues. They're just saying heart issues. But he played every type of music. Now, I'm not saying those who play just the blues are bad or those who play just rock are bad. But he played everything. He was, jack of all trades, master. He just loved playing drums and playing music.
Interesting.
So if one band was in a tour, he went and played at the jazz clubs or the blues clubs, or he did studio work for other guys. He just always wanted to be going. Kind of reminds me of the guy from Foo Fighters who just passed away, the drummer there.
Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah, same thing. Just wanted to play all the time. Just loved playing drums. Same attitude. And if you're a big Megadeth fan and coverist, they don't tour too much anymore. But there was a band called Darkest Hour, is a cover band here in Minnesota.
Okay.
You can see them. And they tour a lot with a group called Made in Minneapolis, which is an Iron Maiden tribute band.
Oh, really?
The two of them tour a lot together. I think there's a lot of members who were in both. Darkest Hour, their next concert coming up, if you want to go behind the Cheddar Curtain, is July 9th at the High Noon Saloon in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
July 9th. I can't make that one. I got something else going on that day.
So that's Darkest Hour.
Yeah, Darkest Hour is the Megadeth tribute band. So if you want to follow them on social media, we've been putting some of their stuff up recently. Them and Made in Minneapolis are touring together a lot. Good bands if you're into that, if that's your genre of music, because Maiden and Megadeth, those two bands play together, it's the same type of thing. So those are.
I still think that would be hard to pull off playing a cover band of either of those two.
Right. Yeah, that's what the curiosity is itching at me on that one to see that one. I'd love to see that. Because Ellison on bass, Marty Friedman's guitarist. Marty Friedman's not Mount Rushmore-ish for me of 80s and 90s guitarists, but you know what? He'd be in my top 10. I'll tell you that. If he made the top 4, depends on how the day is going, but
sure.
He's, I think, very good, very underrated. I think he's underrated because he played in Megadeth and then he went to Japan. So unless you just follow music, you're not going to know of a Marty Friedman. He's just being a long-haired guy in a band and when you watch the videos.
Wow.
But give him a look up. I promise you, you will be happy if you look up Marty Friedman.
I gotta pull up some of his stuff.
That's your homework for the weekend, Dan.
My Memorial Day weekend homework is to look up some Marty Friedman.
Yes, as you're traveling to town ball games over the weekend, as you're outside grilling, have a little Marty Friedman going. Have some.
I'll jot that down, and also Lucid. You know, that'd be a great
That's Dave Ellison's band. Very good band.
A future album review on that group.
Yep. Local boy. We got to support local music with Darkest Hour. Local people like Dave Ellison. We're just WCCO has nothing on us on pushing local people here. We're just local.
And the artwork, by the way, on the album, that was Hugh Syme. Hugh Syme did the artwork on the Megadeth album. A very talented, once again, with their album covers.
Yeah, and Megadeth's videos I thought were so, I don't want to say ahead of their time, but they were very good. They weren't your standard video like everybody else had.
Correct.
They were very detailed.
Not the normal staple of a music.
Here's the band in concert singing. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't a funny video. It was, here it is, you know. Because that was a time where a lot of videos being made. Directors of those videos were movie directors. These bands were hiring movie directors to do their music video.
Yes.
And you could tell who did that by watching the videos. Watch your classic MTV on your networks or on YouTube. You could tell who hired what video directors, you know. So, but yeah, Marty Friedman, Dave Ellison, Nick Menza, find his old stuff. And so that's the band right there. And they've all still going strong, you know. I think Megadeth was like very underrated. Number 2 behind Billy Ray.
Yes, that is a note that I thought was
full disclosure. I had that Billy Ray album.
We won't judge.
Achy Breaky is the worst song on that album. I thought the rest of it was really good. He's got a lot of really other good songs on there. All Gave Some is a very good song to listen during Memorial Day.
Coming up. So that's what they had to go up against. So, I've never done a Billy Ray Cyrus review. Maybe that'll be coming up in the queue.
Yes. All Gave Some. That album isn't that bad. If you take out Achy Breaky, it's really a good album. Okay. I thought.
All right, folks, get out there, listen to some of this Megadeth and also the cover bands, the tribute bands.
Darkest Hour.
I'm interested in seeing checking out those guys sometime.
I see. I was looking at their schedule beforehand. Looks like they got the one in July. They got some stuff in Stillwater coming up. End of October, they will be at the Minnesota Music Cafe.
Oh, they will. Okay.
Yes, but also I see Kiss in Time has a big Halloween concert coming up end of October. A lot of these metal bands are going to love October for concerts, especially around the Halloween time. Stay tuned to the social media. You'll see a lot of those coming up. They're pumping them out now. Yeah, you can't get tickets, but you can get the day off from work for it already.
Awesome. Well, keep tuned, and also remember that you can always write your comments down, leave your comments below the show, share this episode, get it out there, and also give us some recommendations for future topics.
Yeah, future albums. If you know of a local tribute band, let us know them, and then maybe we'll review the band they're a tribute to.
Awesome. I like it.
Our main album. So.
All right. Anything else, Andy?
That's all I got. I looked up again our friends at Medina. I see nothing this summer for concerts for them. I don't know if they're booked up with weddings, if in the summer bands are playing more festival type things or what. But
outdoors, maybe.
Yeah, Medina still has their stuff on Thursdays. Roberts still has good food down there at Medina, so don't forget them in the summer.
Here in Western Carver County, I did hear that in Cologne, outside of Cologne, Pounders has an outdoor amphitheater, small kind of an amphitheater meant for outdoor music for small bands, tribute bands, rock bands, things like that. I've never been there actually to see live music, and I got a good recommendation from a friend who said try to see a show outside there. They've redone it and put up some stonework and whatnot, and it's a really great venue for outdoor music in the summertime in Minnesota. So we'll have to add that to our list as well.
Yeah, Lakes Jam coming up has a night where it's a lot of rock bands, Hairball and them playing there. And your local bars always have the local bands playing there. Please check them out and support local music.
All right, sounds good. Have a good week.
See ya.
See ya.